How's it going, folks? Welcome back to another exciting episode at Look at Us Grow. But today we're not going to grow something. We're not going to grow anything. We're going to try and make a wormery. Now, I've watched a few YouTubers on this. It all seems quite easy and basic. You only need a few bits and pieces. A bath is a good start. Good drainage in the bath to let the water out. A bucket under the drainage to catch the lovely worm juice, which we can give to the plants. On top of the bunghole, I'm just going to put this brick, and that's just hessian sack wrapped in a plastic mesh. It can be anything that's going to let the moisture through but keep the worms in. So I'll just put that under there now, get that out of the way. The other day before I started this, I poured, I don't know, about 4 litres of water with that trap at the bottom of the gauze, and it drained out in about 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe. So I'm happy enough that it's going to be well drainable. The worms won't be swimming around. They all say start with newspaper at the bottom. Shredded newspaper. You can see this was hand shredded by my good self. Nothing best for my little worms. Under this is just, I think it's off a trampoline. It's just a mesh to keep the paper off the bottom, so it allows for drainage and also air. The worms need a bit of air as well. The worms are going to be compost worms. They're not earthworms. Earthworms you find in your garden, in your vegetable patch, flower pots, that type of stuff. These are kind of the first stage worms. These eat the much richer stuff that then the earthworms can live on. So these are compost worms. Apparently there's 2 different types. Well, 3 different types, sorry. You have Indian blue, red wrigglers, and what was the other one? Tiger worms. Tiger worms seem to be quite popular, and they recommend you buy them. They're kind of, I think they say they're the toughest. They eat more for volume, and they're a little bit hardier, I think, than some of the other ones. That's the plan. That's what they say anyway. I have no idea. I've never done this before. Yeah, disclaimer. Don't do this until you see the results. It might be about 6 months' time, I'm not sure. There we go. You wet it down. It's not soaking, but it's wet. The worms like moisture. They need it to breathe through their skins. They need to be wet. So, to buy compost worms is about 13-14 euro for 250 grams. With that, you get a little bit of soil, you get worms, you get castings, and you get baby worms. And they send them out to you by post. On top of the shredded up newspaper that's kind of damp, I'm going to put some leaves we collected last winter. Sorry, some leaves we collected last winter. I'm going to pile it in. Get that stick out. These in we go for a few more leaves. Okay. So the composting worms, because they're the first little creatures to start eating stuff, they do like fresher stuff. So those leaves are fairly fresh, even though we collected them, I don't know, 6 months ago. So that's that in. Step number 2. Now, this is what I think they're really going to like. This is a bag of fresh horse manure. It's heavier than I thought. Look at that lovely stuff. Yeah, it smells fresh. So that's good tack. No life in it yet. It's fairly fresh. It's kind of semi-broken down in places. You can see all the still the grass fibres that they ate. There, look at perfect poo. All grass. So I'd imagine that they're going to like that. Look at that stone. Now eventually, when this goes right, if it goes right, What we'll end up with is amazing, really rich, broken up, dark. It's castings from the worms. It's basically worm doo-doo. A doo-doo-doo. And that's what we want. It's so rich that you only need a spoonful of it, a tablespoon per tomato plant. So only this little bit per tomato plant, and they're sorted. And the most amazing thing about it is it's full of bacteria, the worms castings. Really good bacteria to enrich your soil, build her up. And we think of soil as being dead, all decaying matter like foliage, leaves, grass, animals and all that. Nothing could be further from the truth. There's billions of life in it. So much life that they don't even know it all. So we want some of that in the garden. Well, that's quicker than I thought. Right, all I have to do now is put in 2 buckets of, this is homemade compost. As you can see, there's bits of everything in it. That is semi-rotted down. Starting to break down. Still cardboard. Looks like a bit of soil, some weeds, and there's one worm there. Now, because I had to buy worms, well, I should have bought worms, I decided against it, guys, because we have loads of compost here on the site. We make our own. And if you get earthworms in your garden, well, logic would dictate that you get compost worms in your compost heap. This is the theory I'm going on, folks. You're going to have to bear with me and see if this will all work out. No float. Throw in a few more leaves. Now that looks a bit better for some reason. So, I know worms live in this because that's where I got my worms from. So they should eat that. Next. This should have lots of worms in it. Look at these guys. Now, I have no idea what type of worm that is. That could be a tiger worm. They talk about a brand around its neck. It's not fully visible, so possibly a juvenile, not fully grown. Don't mind you, looks big enough. Well, I think that there's the boys we want, I think. All those lovely worms in there. And I think that might be a little egg. There is some small worms in there too, little juveniles. So that's kind of a good nest. There's everything in that, I think. Again, I've no idea what type of worms here. We're winging this to a degree, but we have a lot of them. There's more in another one there. You break it up. Yeah, right. So I'm really happy with that. So we got our paper. Well, we got our netting first. We got our paper. We got fresh manure. We got leaves in case they don't like the really fresh stuff. They can start chewing on that. And then we got compost that I found them living in. So I think that's it. I'm not going to do any more with it apart from 1 or 2 things. I might wet it down a little bit more. Especially around. Yeah, let the fresh manure went in. I think my compost I put in is kind of wet enough for them. Must be. That's where they're living. That's where I found them, so that's always usually a good sign. So, I suppose technically you couldn't really overwater this at the moment because we have good drainage on it. I'll have a peek now to see that there's anything dripping out. Yep, a few little dribble grooves there. So that's good, that's all working. Now, possibly a magic ingredient. Crushed up eggshells. And this helps the worms digest the food. It kind of works as their teeth. So sprinkle them with that. There would be a little bit of topsoil in there from weeds that we dug up and stuff. Yeah, you can compost weeds, don't panic about that, put them all in. And then we picked a shady spot for this, so they don't get too warm. We might have to insulate it a bit. We have cardboard around, but I think in the winter we'll insulate it a little bit more, just to keep the little wonderful wiggly lads happy. So, one more thing. They don't like the light, so we're going to cover them up just with all damp towels. Tuck them in. Okay, no, I'm not going to use that. That smells of detergent. So I won't use that. Oh, bit of a bang off that. Right, I'll get something else to cover them with. Yeah, we have all carpets and things. As I said, it's just purely to keep the temperature a little bit stable, and also to keep the light away from them. Now, as you can, there's no worms on top now. They've all gone down into the dark. So hopefully, guys, we'll be back. I'll be checking this every day because I'm like a bad doctor. I have no patience. But when we see some difference in it and it's working, I'll tune you in and give you a sconce, let you know what you think. If it doesn't work, I'll absolutely show you. I'll have to do research if it doesn't work, because I don't know why. I think that should be bang on. That's pretty much letting nature do its thing. So fair play, guys. Thanks for joining in. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Never thought I'd hear myself saying that, but it all helps. And the next video will probably be on more composting things and some magic potions you can make for your vegetable plants and garden plants. Doesn't really matter. Alright guys, I'll sign off. Love yous and leave yous. Keep safe and take care.